celebrate the struggles and the fights of working people to build this nation. Because you're the one that created this country. You're the one that created this nation as a sign, as a model for the world. It wasn't the billionaires, it wasn't the CEOs, it's the working men and women of this country. And we're here today to honor you and every one of you for the fight and the work that you've done to create a nation that we can all be proud of. A nation that we can lead the world. But let me tell you something, there's a war here in this nation. It's a war being financed by the billionaires and the CEO, chief executive officers of these big corporations to silence your voice, to take away your right to speak. It would make it illegal for your union to even talk to you about elections, much less talk to the general public. And let me tell you, when you can no longer speak to the public about the choices they make as to who's going to write the laws, they will steal everything you ever fought for in collective bargaining with a stroke of a pen. They will decide who gets elected, they will decide who's going to write the laws, and they'll steal your pension, they'll destroy your health care, and they're going to get your money. This is about getting your money. Proposition 32 is a fight about the future of this nation, but it's about your wages. It's a fight for your wages, your health care, and your pension. Let me tell you now that if we do not prepare for everybody here in this park to spend their time between now and the 8th of October, because October the 8th is when the ballots go out. We're not going to have the first Tuesday in November. People start voting. So we got a brother there who's registering everybody to vote. I need everybody here in this park to register absentee, because we got to start voting on the 8th of October. But we're honored to have a great group of brothers and sisters to come and join us. Those who've been endorsed by the AFL-CIO, if you'd step up forward for just a moment. Matt, you're on the fire board. We need you up here. Now, of course, we told these guys they're going to have to sing Union Made, but before we do that, we're going to hold their singing performance while we welcome the best, strongest, most militant member of the United States Congress that I know. This is a man who's fought for workers, who voted to give farm workers a right to have an election and had the farmers pull a gun on him in the meeting down in Linden, in our San Joaquin County. He stood up to that guy, pulled a pistol on him in the middle of a meeting, and he sat down and voted for workers. He voted for workers in front of guys holding guns on him. You don't get more guts than that. You don't get more strength than that. This is a man who represented agriculture and voted for workers over and over and over again, because he understands that the true strength of this nation is you. He understands that it is you who built this nation. Join me in welcoming our Congress member, JOHN GARAMENDI. Where the hell's John? All right, John. All right, Bill. Are we fired up and ready to go? Are we fired up and ready to go? Okay. All right, we've got some things we need to do here in America. Now, occasionally, I listen to Fox News. I know, I got to provide the fair and balanced part of it. So I'm listening to them this morning, and they were asking this question: are we better off today than we were 4 years ago? And all those Republicans were saying, oh no, we're not better off. And I'm going, ooh, must be Alzheimer's. They forgot. They forgot. They forgot what was happening 4 years ago. But I got to tell you, there's not a person in this park today that has forgotten where we were 4 years ago. The housing market had crashed. People were losing their equity. They were losing their homes. The banks were foreclosing 4 years ago. 4 years ago, the stock market was crashing. 4 years ago, the markets were down more than 40%. That's what was happening 4 years ago. 4 years ago, men and women across this nation were losing their jobs. 4 years ago, a little company called General Motors was on its back 4 years ago. 4 years ago,
George W. Bush was president 4 years ago, and this country was going into the greatest decline since the 1930 Depression. That's what was happening 4 years ago. And were you better off 4 years ago than you are today? The answer is no. No way. America was not better off. What happened on January 2009? I'll tell you what was happening. The Democrats took control of Congress. Barack Obama became president, and we began the long climb back. We're coming back in America, and we're coming back because it was the Democratic programs that brought us back. Are you fired up and ready to go? Yes, it was the Democrats who put in place the stimulus bill that created more than 2.5 million jobs. And for 29 straight months, it's been the Democrat programs that have brought back steady job growth in the private sector. And when it comes to creating jobs, it's the Democratic program that has created the jobs here in America. 4 years ago, no, a little less than 4 years ago, Mitch McConnell, the Republican leader of the Senate, and in the House of Representatives, 4 years ago, it was the young guns that gathered in the House of Representatives, the Republicans, and they said, this is the promise they made to America. Mitch McConnell and the Republicans in Congress promised America that they would do everything they possibly could to stop progress, to make sure that President Obama would fail. Well, we didn't fail. We put men and women back to work. 29 straight months of growth. We can and we will win this election because we have boots on the ground. We have men and women that are phoning. They know the difference between the Republican agenda that would lose 4 million jobs as you push more and more wealth to the super wealthy in America, as you take Medicare and you destroy the Medicare promise of guaranteed health care for every senior 65 years and older. The Republican agenda will destroy that. The Republican agenda will make certain that we continue the war in Afghanistan indefinitely into the future, supporting the Karzai government. Check it out carefully. It's called the Ryan-Romney Republican budget, and it is all laid out clearly there. If you care about working men and women, if you care about the middle class, you will vote Democratic, because that plan by the Republicans will increase taxes on the middle class, will increase taxes on that sergeant that is over there in Afghanistan fighting that war. That budget will destroy Medicare. It will cut more than 1/3, $700 billion out of Medi-Cal, and 60% of Medi-Cal goes to support aged, blind, disabled across this nation. It is a harsh, it is a cruel, and it is a Republican roadmap for despair among the working men and women. We cannot let that happen. Are you fired up and ready to walk? Are you fired up and ready to make the phone calls? Are you ready to change Citizens United? You bet we can. And I'll tell you what Citizens United means. It means that I will receive more than $3 million of Karl Rove Super PAC money and the Young Gun money dropped on my head over the next 2 months. But I've got something they don't have. I've got the men and women who work, the teachers, the construction workers, those men and women that are working in government. That's on the Democratic team. They can dump as much money of that Super PAC secret money as they want to, but they cannot make up for the strength of the working men and women, because we are fired up. We are ready to go, and we're going to win this election. Obama will be the next president. We will see to it that the House of Representatives becomes Democratic, and we will put in place the programs that put America back to work, so that we can once again make it in America, so that our tax dollars are spent on American-made equipment and buses and trains and solar panels and wind turbines that are made in America. That's the American agenda. That's the Democratic agenda. Those are my bills, and I will tell you this, we will fight for the working men and women of America. The middle class will no longer be pushed aside when we retake Congress. Will you help us? Will you walk those precincts? Will you make those phone calls? We are the working men and women of America, and we stand for the middle class. That's our agenda. Carry on. Are we fired up and ready to go? Yes. Thank you.